Are live.
Hello, I am Autodasting. You're listening to the Punk Rock Libertarians Podcast, episode 329. Tonight, I'm joined by Jared Schneiderman.
Hey, guys.
James Babb.
Hello.
And Crystal Woodworth.
How's it going?
So what's going on tonight, guys? What do we got going on?
COVID mania.
That's like every day, man. The Coov mania.
What you cracking open there?
You don't even want to know. It's embarrassing.
Is it a White Claw?
It's worse than a White Claw. No, it's a V8. You think I'm that healthy to have a V8?
Yeah, take a look at it.
Look, it's a twisted tea, peach twisted tea.
Ugh.
Oh,
Yeah, I know it's
nice.
gross. No, it's disgusting.
I got a stomach ache just looking at that.
Right. I went over to Friendsgiving at Alex's house, and he had so much alcohol up there. He literally packed like a whole box full of like alcohol for me, and I need to clear out my fridge, so I figured I'd just drink from that tonight. So it's a whole bunch of Bud Ice and twisted teas and just random ass shit.
Are you blaming Alex for this low quality booze supply? I think that's really like kind of unfair.
No, I'm giving him credit. It's free stuff, man. You can't shit on the free stuff. Oh, speaking of that, my brother brought me over a Heavy Seas 25th anniversary ale. This shit is like 15.5%.
Now you're talking. Yeah.
I had one of them before I had dinner, and it was honestly like I was like almost instant drunk. I'm so glad I ate because I wouldn't be able to do this right now.
Where's Bergman to ask everybody what percentage their alcohol is?
Oh, I know. Well, at first, I don't know. This is some breaking news, but he was on he caught a 30-day ban today. I don't know if you guys saw.
I thought he had already imposed a self ban.
Well, what was the trigger?
He don't know. He said that they didn't show him what he did wrong. It was blurred.
But he's able to comment.
But yeah, I know. So then as we were going live, it said he posted, I don't know. I caught a 30-day ban, but I'm still allowed to post. I don't know.
Well, isn't it Lysander Hess is now filling in?
It was Lysander Hess, but now Matt Bergman just posted.
Yeah,
so
he commented as Matt Bergman on a Lysander Hess post.
That was gonna wear glasses as solidarity.
Well, I prefer the Lysander Hess personality anyway. Like just whenever he gets banned, I feel like he's in like better shape, better form. So
right, he's more jaded.
Yeah,
he's right,
just more raw.
Uncut.
Oh man, so so this is what I'll be drinking tonight. So if you guys hear me sipping, it's on this stuff.
I'm drinking some kombucha.
Kombucha.
Yeah.
That might be the only thing more disgusting than twisted tea. You got like this bacteria mat. Like, I just ordered some. It was over Thanksgiving for Cyber Monday. Aslan Brewing had like a special release. You had to get on in the morning to reserve it. 8 bottles maximum. I pre-ordered 8 bottles of their special release. $320. It's like
Jesus.
But it's special like cheesecake imperial stouts at like 15%. Like some, that's going to be some.
Sounds good.
How many beers is it?
8.
8 for how much?
320.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like came in a sets of 2 for $80 each. Like, really, guys? Gee. Yeah. God, I want it, and I'm gonna buy it. But
you got it. That's awesome.
Well, last year they had something similar, and I'm like, I'm only getting half the allotment. That is no way that's worth that much, right? I just got away with like half or 4 bottles. I immediately regretted I didn't get the other 4 bottles because they were so good. So,
well,
oh man,
worth the money.
Yeah,
at least I'm not drinking twisted tea. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. Jeez. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, but it's free, so I can't complain.
Send Otto money. Whoever you're out there, send him beer. Like, look at the poor guy.
Stress the poor.
Community, punk rock libertarian community. Like, work some magic.
We're gonna have multiple funds just for Phil.
Yeah. I know, just like a fund.
He needs a laptop.
A laptop fund.
But I think this is the most urgent need we've discovered so far.
Yeah. This is it. This is at the top of the list now.
Twisted tea. Well, it is what it is at this point. It's going down. So it's man, that 15% ale I was drinking.
But
man, that was rough.
It's enough like corn syrup to like make your blood sugar spike, like
it's so sugary. It is so sugary. I'm not a big fan of the sugar, but oh well. So what do we got on the week? So this has pretty much been the big topic of the week so far, but apparently, so I don't have the docs in front of me, but apparently, legalized weed is a big topic now. It just passed the House and it's going to the Senate. Is that where we're at?
That's what I heard. Yeah, like Congress passed some kind of thing. I guess the key question is: look, if the majority of Congress agrees to something, is it a good idea? How could it be, right? Like I don't care. Before I even look at the details, I'm like, well, Congress wants it. I'm against it. So I don't know. I mean, give me one reason.
What's the actual language of the bill?
All right, it's the MORE Act. More.
Like MORE?
Yeah, give us more. We need
Please,
more.
Sir, I want some more.
Yeah, they're demanding more, and that more includes a 5% weed tax, right?
That's the sticking point I've been hearing.
And it's going to be more than that. It's just 5%, right?
Yeah, just 5%. Yeah.
What was the income tax when it started, right? Like,
yeah, I don't
give them
1%. Yeah.
What are the odds if we give Congress a new revenue source that it won't increase?
Man, that's like the price you pay to dance with the devil.
So
like,
what is the
proposal
though?
It decriminalizes and deschedules cannabis to provide, and now here's the kicker, to provide for the reinvestment in certain persons already adversely impacted by the war on drugs, to provide for the expungement of certain cannabis offenses and for other purposes. That's the summary. That's not
so that tells me it's not dealers, only people who possessed it.
My first question was, okay, who do we know that this would apply to? Who are these certain cannabis offenses? Anybody I know in trouble for weed has been probably at the state level. And who do I know at the federal level? Ross Ulbricht. I don't think this is going to get him off. Who does this apply to? Does anybody know anyone in trouble on a federal level for weed?
Not that's personally,
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, that's a great question, because
what kind of offense would that be? Like, you'd have to have crossing state lines or something. Like crossing state lines with weed, and that falls under a federal jurisdiction, maybe a large scale operation. I don't know.
Or maybe crossing international borders with weed, or I don't know. But I think it's a question. I don't pretend to understand the sacred documents of the priestly class or to be able to decipher what they really intend by this. But I thought that also the scary part was this reinvestment thing that seems to be like, it's social justice. It's social justice. And like somehow, yeah, we're going to stop arresting you, but then we're going to tax you, and then you're going to thank us for not arresting you.
Yeah, I don't know. Eric Gardner, you.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
Crystal, you were talking about this before. What were you, and you had some concerns about Massey's stance on this?
Yeah, he made me really angry. They want to treat cannabis more or less like tobacco, which does have federal taxes or fees associated with various things. It's not a flat rate, 5%. They tax it by whether it's a cigarette or chewing tobacco. They have different rates. But more or less, it treats it like tobacco. That's an improvement, and it's the best thing this Congress is going to pass. And until libertarians have a significant presence in Congress, this is much better.
So you fully support it. You think this was the right thing. Definitely they should vote for it, and you hope it passes.
I don't want to say I fully support it, because there's a lot of crap in there that I think is terrible.
But it comes down to a yay or a nay, and you're saying yay.
Yes, they should. They should have. It's significantly better than the current situation and the best that we can get from this Congress. But I disagree that someone said earlier that if Congress wants to pass it, it must be bad. I don't think Congress wants to pass it.
Well, they did.
The Democrats, the House passed it, but they know the Senate's going to kill it.
Okay. Well,
it's political. It's political maneuvering.
I think eventually. Well, do the Democrats control the Senate?
No, the Republicans do. So it's going to die in the Senate. But there's no political reason for Republicans to oppose this bill. It's just theater. The whole thing is just theater.
Well, Hillary Clinton told us why they can't legalize it. There's too much money in it. Too much money in enforcing prohibition. But it is kind of interesting to see this. I mean, or maybe they're throwing it out there to deflect from the fact that they like basically put these drug war criminals in office now with Biden, the author of the crime bill, and Kamala Harris, who's presided over it. These two have personally done more to hurt Black communities with their drug war activities than any KKK member could dream of, right? I mean, they're in a real predicament after Black Lives Matter. Cops are racist, over incarceration. This is the most, it's a key issue of our time, blah, blah, blah. Get in there and vote. And boom, here's this mega drug warriors in charge. Like, what? So they must be getting flack from, to prove, or they need to prove like, no, we're going to reinvest in the communities that we've personally destroyed.
Yeah. And it's all fake, because if they had waited until after January 5th, when it's expected that Georgia will add more Democratic senators to the Senate, then it possibly would pass.
Oh, the Senate might shift its majority?
Yeah, so they have to have at least 50% of the vote in order to win the Senate seat. And they both have just shy of that, in 49 point something percent. So they have to do a runoff race on January 5th. And then that'll determine
interesting
if it flips or not. I don't know. I don't think it flips. I think it's like 50-50. I think it's evenly split. But there's a much better chance of passing after this. But
if they get one or two Republicans to go over or something, they can pass it.
And all the reasons that the Republicans gave had nothing to do with the federal tax or the expansion of government, which are totally okay with when the bill.
What did Massey say? Massey voted against it, and
that's what he said. It was those reasons, but he used a libertarian reason to fall in line with everything the Republicans do. And that doesn't make him better. He's not one of us.
Well, I don't think the Democrats are one of us either, just because they're, I'm wondering if the motivation might have to do with banking, because as we know, the banks, because it's on that schedule, we're talking billions of dollars of legal weed going down now. States are going like dominoes to legalize. Dispensaries are popping up everywhere. There's so much money going on, and they can't use credit cards. The banks must be like, oh, please get us a slice. We want 2.5% of this. We demand it, right? So who has clout with the Congress? Stoners? Bankers. Like
I'll say bankers.
I'm going to put my money on bankers. So, maybe they'll do kind of the right thing just so bankers can get richer. Okay. I'm not saying I'm against it just because of that, but suddenly these guys are interested in social justice. Like,
no. That's just what they're saying.
But this whole reinvestment thing is like front and center. And I see something similar in New Jersey when we look at their weed legalizing
lasagna.
Efforts.
Well, it kind of sounds like they're trying to frame it as like reparations.
Yeah,
weed lasagna.
That does sound like that.
But what it is, it's saying like, okay, we're going to have newly freed slaves, and we're going to tax the crap out of them, and for the benefit of the plantation owners. But don't worry, we're going to take some of that and we're going to reinvest it in a slave reentry program. Okay.
That's exactly what it sounds
because,
like.
We're going to give a few crumbs to help those slaves get back into society. Sorry for enslavement your whole life and all the lashings. But don't worry, we've got a new government program that we claim will benefit you. So everyone clap.
Yes.
That's the way it comes off.
It's exactly what I expected the bill would look like, because we can't even pass a decent bill at the state level. But it's better. Treating marijuana like tobacco is better, and it's the best we're going to get for at least another 10 years.
It's definitely better for some people, right? Like not arresting people. I approve. Like there's no denying that, but we also have to, as economists, we have to look at the seen and the unseen. Like, how many people will that 5% tax affect? For how many generations? And will it always be 5%? Will it be 10%, 20%? For 10 years, 50 years, 100 years, right?
Yeah, and if it's on the federal level, how many bombs is that going to buy?
Right. And then what will they do with the money? Who will they hurt with it? So, we have to weigh like, yeah, I want my friends to stop getting arrested now, but do I have to throw generations under the bus to get it?
No precedent is being set with this, though. It falls perfectly in line with the system that already exists.
Which sucks. And I don't know. I just feel like I don't even know how to feel about it. Just because it's like, yeah, it's good for some, bad for others.
It's the same. It's better for some and the same for others, because it doesn't change. It's not tinkering in a market in a more elaborate way than the system that's already in place. It doesn't make the system worse. It doesn't make it better.
But it condemns generations to theft.
They're already condemned.
I don't think it. Well, I mean, if you want to say that that's a condition moving forward,
we're condemning them to, life of imprisonment with the current system. It's not good enough. The bill is not good enough.
My alternative proposal is just stop arresting people. Let's start there.
They'll never pass that.
Well, I don't care what they pass. Like they're not going to pass anything that's going to be for freedom. That's not happening ever, right? So, but what really counts is, well, what does justice demand? Justice demands to just stop arresting people. And, I'll be a lot more interested in their tax and regulation schemes, right? Once the camps are emptied. Like, let's start liberating people. I want to see.
Cops aren't going to stop arresting people until the federal government tells them that they don't have to.
Feels like they're loosening up our leash, letting us go a few more feet on the leash. I mean, that's what this feels like. But I will say, into Crystal's argument, is that this is in the shadow of what yesterday was the anniversary of the ending of Prohibition in 1933. So, I mean, it came
undeniably that's better.
It's a good comparison.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, we get taxed for that now, but I mean, still, we get to.
How long ago was that?
Shit, 70 some years ago, 70.
1933 it officially ended.
I don't know.
Okay, so
let me do math.
Let's just say, okay, so if we're talking about incrementalism, right? We're 75 years or whatever. That's incrementalism. How long is it going to be before booze is fully legal at this rate?
It'll never be fully legal. Never.
Okay, so what does that tell us about the strategy if our goal is legal booze?
Well, that's where the whole Libertarian Party.
Well, I'm
all
just
the
saying
boring political stuff comes in.
Well, I'm just saying, like you can go to Bed Bath & Beyond and pick up a local beer brewing kit. You know what I mean?
They're still kicking indoors for people that are for alcohol today. I mean, it was a couple years ago, Chester County, Pennsylvania. Some guy got hundreds of thousands of dollars of wine seized from his home, and became a big battle. They're like, well, do we have to destroy it? Can we donate it to charity? No, it must be destroyed. Okay, like hundreds of thousands of dollars of private wine stolen. Bars in Philly, doors kicked in, like SWAT raid style on a bar. Why? Because they served a beer that didn't have the proper paperwork filled out, and I think a competitive pub ratted them out for serving a special beer that without the paperwork. Okay. We are so far from freedom of alcohol, and especially now, look at what's going on at Max Public House, other places. They allowed this whole alcohol regulation structure and licensing and blah, 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 tax and regulate, and now they turn it off at a whim. And who must obey? Well, you still want to be open, don't you? Well, you totally agreed. We all agreed that booze licenses are the way. And now it's coming home to roost, and these guys are out of business. Max Public House, it's come down to combat and violence to just try to keep a bar open. So let's talk about booze prohibition, right? Doesn't seem like we're really making progress there. So I'm going to put that as evidence towards against tax and regulate.
Well, of course, we're all against tax and regulate, but the busts that you're talking about for alcohol are significantly lower than the ones for marijuana. It still happens. It's still bad.
And then if we're talking about, the things that are unseen or whatever, or the things that are basically side effects of the main issue, you don't have big gangs peddling alcohol in this country anymore. You don't have Al Capone anymore. That's all being done in the name of, cocaine distribution and, still marijuana distribution. And then also,
who's looking out for the black market, right? Like we don't want to run the Al Capones out of business. We need them.
Well, I mean, I don't think we need Mexican cartels that are just like cutting people's heads off,
Well, that's a product of the drug war, obviously.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The drug war is bad. We should get rid of it.
But will this bill make that go away? No,
it doesn't.
Won't even come close to anything like that.
That we're not going to get anywhere close to ending the drug war until libertarians and Greens and maybe some more independents are elected into Congress. We can't put this on hold until that happens. We can't just not make any incremental steps because they're not perfect. Because it's going to be 10, 20, 50 years until we have enough influence to actually make it good, to make it decent. This is literally the best we can do right now.
Maybe in politics, yeah.
Well, yeah.
What about, maybe we should talk about the non-political solutions. For instance,
Boogaloo.
For people that are running dispensaries out there and coming, besides Boogaloo, which is still an option. Let's talk cryptocurrency. Okay. Now, you guys running dispensaries out there, you don't want to pay a 5% weed tax. Stoners, you don't want to pay a 5% weed tax. This is on top of the state tax. This is on top of the local regulations. I mean, this is brutal. Okay. It's a terrible, terrible, nothing close to a free market for weed anywhere near like anywhere. So how about this? You guys put Bitcoin ATMs in the lobby, accept Bitcoin, for your transactions. Don't worry about lobbying the federal government so you can use banks and credit cards. They've screwed you over all this time. You don't need them. Go to crypto, and all those dispensaries that you want to pay the 5% tax, you want to pay the state tax, you go right ahead, right? But for those that decide like, you know what, maybe I'm just not going to report this. I'm going to do more business in crypto. I'm going to do there you go. That's how you resist this kind of thing. It has to be sort of ignored, bypassed through stratagem, through, whatever it takes. But it starts with an attitude of like, I don't owe them shit. Okay. I don't owe the federal government shit for weed. I don't owe the state government shit for weed. I don't care if they've agreed to stop arresting a couple of my friends. That doesn't qualify them, for a cut of this transaction. So
speaking of which, a little off topic, but I've noticed in the past few months, I've seen nothing but Bitcoin ATMs pop up everywhere. My local 7-Eleven at the end of my street has one. The one like this random gas station has one. I see another one across the street from there, and another convenience store. There's literally 3 within a mile of me. It's insane.
I've seen them in crazy places. 2 years ago, I found one on a remote coastal town in British Columbia, like the end of the road where the ocean is, at like this little port town. It's like, boom, Bitcoin ATM. Like, wow. They're freaking everywhere.
It actually makes more sense for it to be there, right? Because they don't have to worry about going through some big credit processing company to get a bank machine out there and all that rigmarole. They can just get a Bitcoin ATM and they just buy it from whatever company or lease it from whatever company offers them, and then that's it.
Right. Oh, plus it's good for people that are like working abroad and sending money home for remittances.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about like converting it to something else and paying, the Forex fees or whatever the fuck.
Here's the opportunity for cannabis people. You're growing cannabis, accept crypto. You're marketing cannabis, accept crypto. You're retailing cannabis, accept crypto. You're developing products and technology and support services, accept crypto. Just start accepting it. You're working in the business, bill in crypto, make your billing an option in crypto, make your payment an option in crypto, and separate from these parasitic politicians out there that are just insatiable.
It's the best way to do it. I mean, if for how long they let you to do it, because as soon as this, like, it's like it's a give or take, man. It's like you take, okay, cool, yeah, expunge records of some people, whatever that means, and then we're gonna let you smoke weed. It's fine, but we still need you to give up your guns. We still need you to I guarantee you there'll be somewhere along the lines where they say you cannot use cryptocurrency to purchase any type of marijuana or anything like that, because that's just the nature of the beast. You're always going to be dealing with certain give and take rules when you're dealing with the government. So it's best. It's like, so that's why so many people just prefer to have their own dealer, their own thing. Like, so I'm dealing with right now with decriminalized nature. I've been dealing with a lot of leftist and socialist types, and they'll straight up say it. They'll show it like Carlos. He runs decriminalized nature, and he's pretty much says along the lines, I'm just give or take, he says, we don't want the capitalists coming in. We don't want legalization. He's like, we don't want capitalists because they think, state regulations and licenses and stuff like that is capitalism. And so they are like, no, so we want to keep it just straight decriminalized, not legalized. So that way the money stays in the communities and it stays with the people of color and stuff like that. So it's kind of like the aggressio, translation is like, oh yeah, just don't lock me up for it, but I'll keep growing it myself and I'll keep selling it myself, and just don't lock me up for it.
Well, you hear these words like decriminalization, legalization, and I think they it's sort of some jargon that means different things to different people. So,
right. So,
what do you call it when you just don't arrest people?
Right. I mean, so, Phil, you were saying decrim, but whenever they decriminalize something, it's always like, we'll decriminalize personal amounts,
for small quantities,
which is whatever they deem personal, which could be 1 ounce or 1 gram.
They'll say stuff like, we're going to deprioritize it. It's going to be our least, and people clap. They still reserve the right to bust you for it, though. And that is not going to address the problem of predatory policing when you give cops the ability to decide whether they're going to arrest you for weed or not. Well,
that's the problem I ran into when I was working with Decriminalized Nature DC. That was, since they're a federally regulated city, that was the best they could come up with their legislation, because they can't have any type of decriminalization, only change the priority of which, it's like you can, which it passed, Initiative 81 passed in November. So it pretty much puts it to the bottom list of things they can arrest you for, essentially. But yeah, like you said,
but they can still pull it out if you happen to be black, or they don't like your attitude or whatever. Exactly.
Or they
New Jersey is going full Jersey with drug legalization, and they've got a special class of cop now that, because they can't do a DUI test, they're like, well, how do we know who to arrest? And they're like, well, we're going to do a special class of cop with training, and they can come in and look at you and be like, that dude's stoned, and like that's the same as like a breathalyzer test. These special cops, and they'll go to court and be like, my special training told me, I looked at him. Well, I could tell he had a Grateful Dead patch or dreadlocks or whatever, like their special training, and we're going to totally trust him not to be racist or biased or whatever, or abuse that power. But
it's like, Your Honor, he asked to borrow something from me. He was clearly stoned.
Yeah. Yeah, there was Twinkie wrappers all over the front seat. Wait,
in fairness, I have Twinkie wrappers in my front seat, but that's just because I just love eating them. So, but I look like, speaking of which, it's so funny. The other day, I was responding to a long story, but I was responding to a text I shouldn't have been. I actually drove straight through a red light, and I look over as I'm running this red light, like, oh crap! I'm like, hope there's no cops around. I look to my left, there's 2 cops sitting at the light. I'm just like, oh man. So I go ahead and I pull up. I just preempted, like, yep, they got me. Here it is. I pull up my license. I pull up my registration as the light, I see them turning out to follow me, and they just drive right past me. Like, wow. I just blew this red light just like an idiot, just straight, because I saw there was a truck in front of me slowing down. I'm like, what is this guy slowing down for?
So they drove past you like, oh, it's cool, he's white.
And, the weed expert must have deemed you a straight edge. He's like, no, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not high.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So it's definitely something that, like, it's still, like you said, it's still, they still have that card in the deck. It may be at the bottom of the deck, but it's still in their deck, and it's, you know what I mean.
You know what else is on the table? Forced blood draws. Okay. That's what the police union is saying. They're like, oh, you're going to legalize weed. Well, then we demand the power to inject needles and draw, because they're terrified at the prospect of not being able to arrest anyone they want at any time, or inflict like punitive, like shakedowns at will. So they're like, they need that power. They need to be able to still terrorize randomly, or they're not going for it. And they're going to keep
police unions. The police unions need to keep police level, their jobs. They need to keep these people employed. And how you can employ people when drugs are decriminalized? Like, no. They're fighting to keep these laws on the books. They fight to make sure
they're trying to. Everybody's fighting.
Employed.
Yeah, they're fighting to expand their number of cop jobs. We're going to need more training for this. Like, remember, like for decades, we're like trying to, like, libertarians have been trying to sell legalization. Is like, look all the money we can save on the war on drugs. It's all wasted. All this billions of dollars that's going in there. To them, that's the feature. That's the good part. The money being spent. You can't take away their money. You just need to give them more money. So they're going to get the taxes, and they're going to keep all those government jobs. That's their priority. So, our priority has got to be, to minimize their expansion of power, any way we can. Increase their costs, slow them up, trip them up, dodge them, avoid them, monkey wrench them, not to celebrate them.
Fair enough. Hey, speaking of the whole alcohol thing, can we circle back to that Max Public House thing?
Yeah. So what's going on?
The docs on that, James?
Well, this guy, he put a sign in his window calling himself an autonomous zone. And this guy's in Staten Island, I think. And he was, he said, I'm not going to obey anymore. We're staying open. He got arrested, and he's got community support. And evidently last night, something went down. They were, like sneaking people in through an adjacent building, and like they were still trying to operate in a kind of I don't know what they were doing, but they tried to take the owner into custody. He gets in his car, he drives off, like supposedly like it hits a sheriff's deputy or something, like drags him for blocks. Like this was like some
Wait,
big
like as a like drags, like hits the person, or like his physical body. Oh wow!
He's my hero.
It was like one of those, like the guy tried to do like a Starsky and Hutch move or something, and like grab onto the hood. Like, we're gonna not let this terrorist get away. Like, like
this entrepreneur must be stopped.
Jump on his hood. Like I don't know what the hell they were doing, but I just saw the headlines and I read a couple stories, but I didn't see actual video. And but it's escalating. It's escalating. The people that want to be left alone and the people that just won't leave them alone are ramping up. So not really thrilled about that, but it's got to come to a head somewhere. Like, it's the wholesale destruction it's got to come to an end somehow, and it won't stop until people say no. They got to just put their foot down, say no. I will not be regulated. I will not be managed that way. So,
but that's the thing that sucks is like, so I've been seeing some type of surveillance law was passed in France or something, and so over the weekend there's been like this huge protest. Dude, these protesters are fucking cornering cops and like throwing like bricks at them and pushing them back and like throwing fire. Like, I can't imagine anything like that happening over here. It's like we're so passive. And I'm not advocating for violence like that, but I'm just saying, like, when are we gonna show the balls to like just to say no, like, and stand up? Everyone's just like, no, I can't go outside. I have to wear a mask and I have to social distance.
Well, people only do that when they have people only do that when they have the entire backing of the mainstream media.
Yes.
Right. Because, like, if the media says, "Oh yeah, cops are hurting black people in larger numbers," then okay, then it's fine for us to be out in the streets. But if the media says, "Oh yeah, you can't, argue that this bar should just be able to stay open and make its own choices," then no, you're not going to see people in the street.
I've got some text from the story. Here's some text this is Police One. Okay, so this is right from the police perspective. Co-owner of New York City bar that authorities said had been defying coronavirus restrictions was taken into custody after running over a deputy with a car. Authorities said Danny Presti fled from his bar, Max Public House, after deputies observed patrons entering the establishment Saturday night in violation of the city and state closure orders. Sheriff Joseph Fucito said deputies attempted to arrest him. He left the bar early Sunday. He got into his car, struck a deputy, and kept driving for about 100 yards, even as the deputy was left hanging onto the hood. Total Starsky and Hutch mode.
That's awesome.
Like, dude, that guy must have been so roid raged. Like, he served beer. I'll stop him. God.
Oh my God.
We can't let him get away. He might serve beer tomorrow. Oh no.
These peasants think they're free. How dare you? Get back here.
The injured deputy was taken to a hospital for treatment.
Injured my ass.
Oh my God.
He got a little bump on his elbow.
Oh.
France does all those protests, but they're terribly not free. Are these protests effective? Do they actually get the policy that they want out of them?
Most of their protests are pro-socialist, though, right? Be like the yellow coats or whatever,
about?
Like the yellow jackets.
They're like more socialism, but they don't like this part of it.
Right.
I mean, but isn't that what we're protesting here in the United States? I mean, It's like we love socialism, but not this part of socialism. Shit. I mean, look at these people that are protesting Black Lives Matter. They're like, oh, how dare you hurt black people? We want more black police officers. Like that's what these BLM protests were over the summer.
Well, the protests, not so much. You know what though? Just defying authority, that freaks them out. Okay, the police stood guard and happily watched the destruction of cities during Black Lives Matter protests. However, a business defying our authority, whoa, like that's a totally different matter to them, right? Like look at the difference in response. So I think we can tell what's important to them by how they respond. And
Jared just nailed it on the head, man. You seriously did, man. It's like they don't have the backing of the corporate media,
right?
So even the cops are scared because they don't have the backing of the corporate media. So it's such bullshit. But you're so right. You're so fucking dead on. Like
thanks, man.
It's just like just hearing you say that and then what James is saying and Chris, like it's just like like exactly, like that's exactly what's going on. It's fuck, man. It sucks so bad. It's like we're so fucked. Like we are, man. I don't mean to laugh, but we're so goddamn fucked.
At least you got enough twisted teas to get you through it.
No, I'm on the Guinness Blondes there, my friend, which I'm pretty sure are skunked. They're pretty sure they're skunked.
Were they from the brewery?
No, well, they all are, but these
okay. But
we got this. I think it was for like my daughter's party, like October, and I think we left them outside too long because they taste like shit. But I'm still drinking it.
Gotta
clear out the fridge. I know. Go to PRLfans.com. Go, and I think we're having a new category there for like help Phil or auto, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I got some marketing.
Send us your Bitcoin and your Fed notes.
Or your quality beverages, at least.
That too.
Yeah.
That's illegal, though.
Is it?
Is it?
I don't know.
Even better.
I think to mail.
Yeah. You can't mail beer or alcohol in Maryland.
Even better.
Yeah.
When I mail beer, I call it, if they ask, I would say it's yeast samples.
Stringent.
It's yeast and water.
Just in case it breaks open and they smell it. I don't know.
It's for all the sourdough bread that we've been baking this quarantine.
Right.
Right. But yeah, like, so speaking of bullshit, yeah, so apparently everyone's been, I saw it, Washington Post reported this a few days ago, that Donald Trump is withdrawing all of our, I think it was like 700 troops, the majority of them out. So it's not all, but the majority of them are being moved out of Somalia, which is great. They've been fighting this alleged Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab there for years, ever since, we turned our backs on them.
This is this was to facilitate like the Saudis, like extermination of the poor Yemenis. No, because that genocide's allowed to still happen. Oh, right. Fine. Yemen is still, that genocide's happening. This is Somalia.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia,
one of the less popular genocides.
They're the African ones, so they're even darker. So we don't even care about them at all. Like,
well, so Trump wants to remove some troops. That sounds positive. I assume the left is outraged.
Yes, because guess where they're moving them to? Kenya. They're just going to be moved to Kenya, so they'll still be part of AFRICOM or whatever. And so they're just be sitting there waiting there. They're just going to be waiting there for a Biden administration to go send them into another country to.
I didn't even know Kenya had oil.
People.
Wow. Damn. Sorry, Kenya.
So,
wait, what are they called? AFRICOM?
Yeah, it's AFRICOM, I think. Yeah.
That's like the Pentagon's.
Like there's like CENTCOM and there's AFRICOM.
That's their franchise.
I don't know. Their
licensing brand.
It's a certain sales territory for the Pentagon.
It's their sales region.
So
where they do all their arms deals for.
Didn't Karen Kwiatkowski? She was involved in AFRICOM. You know Karen Kwiatkowski, right?
No.
Oh my God. Yeah, she was a whistleblower, wrote for LouRockwell.com all the time, big Ron Paul supporter. Karen Kwiatkowski. Yeah, she was writing while working in the Pentagon, like exposing like the bullshit of the run up to the Iraq war. And nobody suspected this sweet lady, Lieutenant Colonel, I believe, but like still like a petite, like nice lady, was the one like leaking out all this information.
That's awesome.
But
that's
yeah,
great.
because they were seeing.
So how many years is she behind bars now?
She did not. They did not prosecute her.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't exactly know.
She must have been really nice.
Yeah.
Or had some information.
No. Yeah, I don't know exactly how that worked, but yeah, she's super cool though.
I have to look her up.
She was involved in AFRICOM. I'm pretty sure.
Fuck, dude, it's such bullshit, man. It just goes back to like this whole like Trump's trying to get troops out, or now he's more worried about fighting this voter fraud shit. So I don't even think any of his attempts to ending any war before he's out is going to happen. I mean, not like I expected it to. It's just like I thought maybe he might just one middle finger up, say, "Hey, I'm getting the fuck out of Afghanistan. I'm leaving it to, I'll sell it to the highest bidder, or I'll just burn it down myself on the way out."
Well,
I was hoping he's something like that, but it's not going to happen.
Well, do you think he got this? I'm sure he got the same treatment that Obama got, where they're like the CIA sits you down and be like, "Look, if we don't do these certain wars, then there's going to be these terrorist activities, and we're going to blame it on you. It's going to be said that because you did this, there's another 9/11, and history is going to remember you as the one. Are you okay with that?" And nobody really has the spine or the background or the knowledge or cares enough to hold up against those guys and then be like, "Well, look, I'm just here for, I wanted my healthcare bill, or I wanted a free, I just wanted, to be famous. Okay, you have your wars. Go ahead. Give me my things over here." And the wars will always continue because nobody's going to stand up to them. Nobody's ever going to turn that shit off.
Yeah, there's definitely, everyone keeps saying, why is Trump hiring all these blood-sucking demons who he says he allegedly hates? I was like, because he's not, in my opinion, not to give him any, he still should be locked up for fucking war crimes. But like, it's almost like he's being told, like, yeah, this is who you're going to have. Like, this is
part of the deal.
Yeah, like this.
He's like, I don't care. He's like, whatever. Like, do I get what I want? Yeah, okay. Then you can have what you want. Like,
yeah, and I think no matter how much he's like, his instincts are telling him, why the hell are we in these wars? Like, they should be paying us if we want it. If they're not going to pay up, then we need to leave. I think that whole mentality, he's like, he gets sit down. He's like, no, you don't understand. Do you want to get JFK'd or not? Do you want to have your kid's head blown up from the grassy and all? Then yeah, don't.
Right. Well, remember Eisenhower, it was only his like farewell speech where he was finally like, "Oh, by the way, we're being run by technocratic elites. Run away."
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I just don't see any of this shit coming to fruition at all. I think it's just,
what are the Q drops saying?
Huh?
I said, what are the Q drops saying?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking idiots. Why do people believe that shit, man? That's just the dumbest. Like, even I love hearing conspiracy theories, but some of the shit I hear from Q, I'm like, this is just pathetic, man. Like, where's Alex Jones?
What's the plan?
I love conspiracy theories, and I was like, man, this rabbit hole is not good.
Right.
It wasn't good.
It's almost like intentionally ridiculous, right?
Yeah,
just to become the lightning rod for any counter narrative, right? You can just loop, like anybody who has an alternative narrative, lump it in with those idiots and dismiss everybody at the same time.
Do you think it's an op? You think it's a coordinated op?
Or some good trolling, like either, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was just trolling.
Yeah.
I think someone is just
trolling that cat
out bullshit and laughing.
And people want to believe so bad. They'll believe anything.
I want to believe.
Right, man. Straight up X-Files shit.
Yeah, dude. That's going to be the outro music for this episode.
I just got us a copyright infringement, though. Sorry.
Don't worry. That wouldn't be the first time that's happened on this show.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We originally had what was it? The I can't remember. We had a song as the intro that was like an actual song. Well, I mean, we have an actual song, but it was like an actual like well-known, famous, like well-known punk song. I can't remember what it was now, but
punks are always suing you for copyright violations.
But well, we didn't get sued, but it was YouTube just took down our videos because it had it. It just the bot was like, oh, you're gone.
We're lucky that Judge Gray's musical montage didn't get us flagged.
Yeah.
That was one.
Oh, you got to go back. Anyone, if you don't know, Judge Gray decided to sing on our podcast.
If you've got an extra 2 or 3 hours to spend, you might enjoy that song he sang.
That's where he sank his campaign, was on this podcast.
Yeah, pretty much.
He said he watched the one. Was he on 2?
No.
Was he on 2?
One on here.
No, he was on episode 279.
Well, what would you say was what would you say was the final nail in his coffin? Was it like saying that people like Julian Heiklin and jury nullification pamphleteers should be arrested?
Yeah.
Or his musical performance?
I think that was just icing on the cake.
I think that was the final nail in the coffin.
The musical performance?
Yeah, that was the nail. Yeah. But I think you pretty much like dug the hole and like put the coffin into the hole and like put his body into the coffin.
So PRL single-handedly took down Judge Jim Gray.
Yeah, another judge's career ruined by Punk Rock Libertarian Podcast.
Put another notch on the bedpost.
Right,
he's a nice guy. We make fun of him, and of course he has some terrible ideas, but he was a good sport. So
he was, yeah.
Sure.
For an authoritarian bastard with poor intonation. I mean, that's rude. He'll never come on the show again. I
don't think he's ever been heard of. What's up with Lincoln Chafee? We haven't even heard of that guy. Where's he been? He's disappeared off the face of the planet.
Probably working
after
for
he
some
lost
like
the nomination.
Neocon think tank or something.
Right. He's probably going to join the Green Party.
Wait, who was that guy? Some kind of a has-been? I forget which one he was, though.
He wasn't a has-been. He was a never was.
Oh, okay. He was an up-and-coming wannabe, not ever was. Like,
if you've seen the Mighty Ducks, you know that reference. But yes, no, he was what, a Democrat, then a Republican, then an independent, then a libertarian. I think that's how that went. There might have been one other step I'm missing, but he wasn't out there for Joe's campaign. I didn't see him once campaigning for Joe, and he kind of went MIA.
Well, I guess he wasn't. I guess Hillary didn't tell him to come out. I don't know. Like, to see what's Bill Weld up to? Does he have a job in the Biden administration, or?
It wouldn't surprise me, dude. It wouldn't surprise me.
Ambassador,
he got nothing out of endorsing a Democrat.
Got nothing.
Well, you know what? He's laughing at us, going, "Those libertarians got nothing. I'm going to Beltway cocktail parties."
Right.
I get to not wear a mask.
That's right. Yeah. Right. Unfortunately, he doesn't get to go to Epstein's Island anymore, and he's kind of bummed about that. But
don't worry, some other person replaced Epstein already, so the adrenochrome is flowing.
Yeah,
it's flowing. It's out there flowing.
Where is Mossad's current vacation resort?
Oh, this is why we have you on, James. This is why we have you on.
Luckily, it's a comedy show.
For podcast titles.
Say anything? Yeah.
There's so many. God, man, we haven't even talked about Giuliani getting the coup, man.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah. So what is that? Today, Donald Trump tweeted out that Giuliani, his personal lawyer, it's just so weird hearing that's his new title now. If you notice that the corporate media, they won't say former mayor or Mayor Giuliani. Then now he is Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. Now came down with COVID. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it's like they switched the language up on it. So they're like, yeah, we have to keep him associated with this evil orange man.
Man, how far that bastard's fallen. Like he was really like wanted to be like a key supervillain at one point. Like he had taken over New York.
Basically the Penguin,
right? He was
right?
on stage, but like this dude was on his way up. Like he thought he was going to be somewhere. Yeah, he thought he could be the next Penguin.
He was like the 9/11 hero too, right? I mean, he was like the mayor during 9/11, right?
Yes, he
remember
was.
Jon Stewart? Jon Stewart's joke about him was like, yeah, he's running for mayor of 9/11. All he would say was 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11. Right. It was his only shtick. And, like,
didn't he run for president?
Yeah, that was the classic Ron Paul moment.
Right.
Slapped him so hard. I'm like, oh.
I don't remember this.
You know,
this
that
was
the
2008.
This is like everyone's like they lost their libertarian virginity on that moment. Was when so they were when he was saying that like one of the, I forget who was the one mediating the the debate. They said something along the lines of like
or something.
Yeah, they were like somewhere like along the lines. They said what you know. Ron, Dr. Paul, you feel that somehow we have somewhat to blame or we have some responsibility for 9/11. He kind of just like, in a few shorter words that, I don't know, I'm pretty drunk, said he was like, yeah, pretty much. And then Rudy Giuliani was like, I'm sorry, I have to interject myself. And as the mayor of New York, I saw this happen. I can't believe you would insinuate that we had anything to do with the reasons of 9/11. And then they were like, Dr. Paul, what do you have to say? And he's like, we did, like, yeah, fuck you.
And then later provided like a whole reading list for Giuliani to catch up on history with. Like all like
you think I'd have a better memory of that, but
he had a whole the line I remember was like, yeah, we just marched in, we can just march out.
Yep, that's how he ended it.
And and it really like just the jaws had dropped in this like warmongering. People weren't saying shit like that in the mainstream politics. That was off the 3x5 card. That was like
and that was made sure it hasn't happened since.
Yeah.
Posey was close.
They're like,
she got close.
Yeah.
She got close.
And they're like, quick, check with Epstein. What do we have on this guy? And they're like, shit, we don't have anything.
Oh fuck yeah!
He likes chocolate chip cookies. That's all we know.
He likes. God damn it! He doesn't even drink.
Yeah, wait. We don't have any like child sex videos of a congressman. Nope. What?
Jeez. Oh fuck yeah! But yeah, so Giuliani, he has COVID. We don't know what. He could just be a positive test. Who knows?
I did read he was in the hospital though. But that could be.
You did? Okay, I didn't hear that.
Could be precautionary.
Probably. These politicians, they're all.
I've heard that there's different strains of COVID that are more serious than others now. This is kind of something new. I don't really know anything about it. It was just kind of interjected, and it's like, are we watching a new narrative now? Like,
I think we are. Dude, you stumbled onto this. What I've been thinking, because so sports ball. Let's go to sports ball for a second. So the Baltimore Ravens, Jared, you know more about this than I would, but they had so many of their players come down with COVID that they pretty much had to play with like all their practice squad players, and they lost the game. But the news that came out afterwards was that there was 4 different strands of COVID in the locker room. that they found. And I'm like, whoa, wait, back up. You can have multiple
I don't remember hearing that.
That was put out by the team.
And they had different properties.
Yeah.
Right? And they were like, well, one of them is really serious. I'm like, what? Like, I hadn't heard this level before. So it's like, well, you got vaccinated for that COVID, but we've got this other one. Yet still, so you're still going to have to, blank.
A different type of COVID, or did they say a different type of coronavirus?
They said strand of COVID. That's what I heard.
Maybe you could.
I've never heard.
Yeah, it was like an NFL article or something. I don't know.
The Ravens put it out themselves. They put it out on there. So go find the docs on that, guys.
Interesting.
Did maybe the Ravens didn't get the briefing from the World Health Organization prior to their press release? Like, you're not supposed to say blank, But what could that mean? Like, because we do have a lot of weird things. Like, how come Wuhan, China, recovered so quickly and it's completely disappeared there after going crazy? And why are there
disappeared, or do they stop reporting it?
The graphs are all different in different states, and the policies and the spread seem to be completely unrelated. And it's like a whole lot, different cultures affecting it differently. And there's so many questions still unanswered that.
Yeah, but Crystal's right. There's also how many mass graves are there where they just start executing anyone who had a higher temperature than 99 or 98.9, something like that. They're just like, okay, off to the death camp for you.
Well, do you think that's China? What they were doing in Wuhan? I mean,
I don't know. When it comes to China, I don't know what is CIA propaganda or what is actually something that they're doing. So I kind of just go it's a toss up. Who knows? It could be both. Yeah,
I mean, I don't think they were
it could be terrible.
People, but I think they just probably weren't reporting it or even bothering to test it.
But I think if you look, I'm pretty sure life is normal there. I don't think anyone there is I don't even think they're masked up anymore. Am I wrong? I mean, I think it's.
I had heard something like that.
This is on. This is from a science journal. It says the virus causing the COVID-19 pandemic presents at least 6 strains. Despite its mutations, the virus shows little variability, and this is good news for the researchers. So it sounds like there are multiple strains, but they're all
what
kind
source
of the
is
same.
that?
The University di Bologna.
So what is it indica, sativa? What are these strains?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you could trust this university or the NFL where we
trust the NFL. God damn it!
I don't know who's
or
the credible
some
source
intern at the some intern at the Ravens head office.
I'm going to call that a toin cost for credibility.
A toin cost?
Toin cost?
Toin cost.
Toin cost.
So I think you crossed from drunk into high now.
I don't know. Who's had too many twisted teas now?
Lag.
Cool.
It's been a rough day. We went to a COVID, kind of a mask protest. They were doing a mask protest. It was against masks, forced vaccinations, lockdowns, kind of a sort of a demonstration with some speakers in Philly. And it was too cold, so we ended up tailgating by the truck most of the time. So has been a long day, but doing my best to hold it together.
Well, why don't we so let's just take this on over to the after hours then. Let's keep this party going.
Oh yeah.
So if you guys want to listen to the after hours, we're going to record it right after this. If you guys want to hear it, we recommend you guys sign up for our Patreon because that's pretty much the only way to hear it. So for just as little as $75 a month, you guys can hear our podcast. Pretty sure Jared will send you a T-shirt and some other stuff, maybe some nudes. Who knows? Because $75 mode is what we're trying to go for. If you want to be cheap and just send us $1, it's okay. You can listen to it there too. But if you don't like using Patreon, you can just go over to prlfans.com where you can find other ways to donate to the show to help keep our lights on. We also have T-shirts for sale. You guys should go over there and buy some over at libertariancountry.com. If you use the code PRL or PRL Podcast, you can get a 10% discount. But if you want to spend over $50, you guys can use the code PRL2 to get a 20% off coupon. Well, coupon, discount, whatever. And then, so also tonight has been brought to you by Moral Bob's podcast, Conversations About Freedom. And I guess that's about it. So I guess until next time, live free,
or die.